Hello and welcome to the show. Listen, I am excited today about the show. When I tell you we have a great show planned for you, and I'm glad that you're joining us today. You know, I always talk about new beginnings, and of course, this is new beginnings for us for the year. We've been celebrating it all year, even though we're in a new season. We're still talking about doing those things that God has purposed you to do and making sure that you take steps into the new beginnings. All right. Today's show, we have Dr. Shawn D. Foster. He is the Orangeburg County Superintendent. And I'm telling you what, I'm excited because I want to hear his story, and so do you. So I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy because it's coming up next.
The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com.
Hello, everybody. It's Finkley of The Michael Finkley Show, and you're watching Gold right now. Why? You're watching The Tammy Show. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the show. I told you we have a great show planned for you. You know, I'm excited today because I have one of my favorite people here in Orangeburg, and that is, I'm not going to say his name right away. I'm going to introduce him like this. Okay, he's a devoted husband to his beautiful wife, Tanya. He's a father of a daughter and a son. He is the superintendent of Orangeburg County School District. He received his bachelor's degree in social work from Livingston College with a full athletic scholarship for football. Now, he's going to tell us all about that. And then, of course, he received his Master's of Arts in Counseling from Webster University, and he earned a Master's of Education degree from Columbia College. And then, of course, his Educational Leadership and Administrative Doctorate from South Carolina State University, right here in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Listen, without further ado, he is a father to many, and I want to bring him out from backstage. Come on out, Dr. Shawn D. Foster.
Hey, how's it going, Tammy? How's it going?
It's going well. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. Excited to be here, and just thank you for the opportunity to come and tell my story.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, that's what we want. We want to hear your story. I'm glad that you joined us today. And again, thank you so much, Dr. Foster, because I know you're busy. See, I can see back there in the background. I know where you are, and they won't let you go. But I'm gonna get you out of here in a little bit.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk about who Shawn D. Foster is. Tell us about Shawn D. Foster.
Well, good question, Tammy. And I'll tell you, when people ask that question, I often tell them, I'm the son of Sharon Foster. That's truly who I am. What I consider to be one of the greatest blessings out there is to be born to a single mom. Had some struggles, but there's some core things that my mom always kind of instilled in me. And her and my aunts, she was one of 6 girls that my grandmother raised as a single grandmother as well, a single mom. And so that's who I am. And I often tell people the essence of those women the strength, the expectations, that grit is seemingly what helped me become a man. So people say sometimes a woman can't raise a male. Well, maybe six of them can.
Oh.
Um, I grew up in Greensboro, North Carolina,
Mhm.
in the housing projects, and obviously, um, some of the times that we experience now in those environments existed when I was in school, and being the only child and the only male in my family until I was 17 years old. So all of my aunts had females as well. So I tell people I've been the man of my house since I've been born. I remember the days whenever the old superstitions where they had a male walk through the house on New Year's for good luck.
Mhm.
I recall being 3 years old, being able to walk through the house and be the man of the house. So I believe
Wow.
some of those things and those opportunities that my mother provided me at a young age, that sense
Mhm.
of responsibility, that sense of ownership, has translated through my life, and didn't make always the best choices. Had some struggles at times. My mother didn't own a car, so I tell this story often because I credit my bus drivers when I was in school to being a part of the success that sits before you today. We would oftentimes get up in the morning and I would go in the kitchen and the stove would be open and it'll be on, and you think you're getting ready for breakfast, but sometimes that's how we heat the house. Or my mom would put a pot of water on top of the oven and boil it, and you go in and you wash up because you know what? Maybe there wasn't enough money to pay the gas bill. And we had
Mhm.
gas um, utilities. So having those things, and I didn't know any different. I thought it's just what everybody did. But we would walk to the city bus stop, and I learned the best lessons of my life as a young male on the city bus as I caught the city bus to my school bus stop and then got on the school bus to ride to school. And the folks on the city bus would let me ring the bell, and that was my
Mhm.
job. So when they pulled up, they had the string back then.
Mhm.
They got
Mhm.
fancy, and everyone would say, "Sean, it's my stop." So that sense of responsibility and the ownership and bringing people together is something that, even though my mother didn't intend to do that, that was some of those things and those traits and beliefs and values that she began to instill in me just on that ride on the city bus. Was able
Wow.
to earn a scholarship in football, and went to Livingstone College and played 4 years there, and learned a lot along the way. But was blessed to have education choose me. You mentioned earlier that I was a social work major and had no intention of going into education. As a matter of fact, when I said I graduated from college, I would never go back into a school. Tell people you want to make God laugh, you tell him your plans.
That's right.
I haven't left the school since then, and so I say education chose me. I didn't choose education, but I'm
Mhm.
also blessed because I understand the truth that favor is not fair.
That's
Um, my,
right.
my successes that I've experienced is not often because of my abilities or my strengths. I believe many times that I've just been given favor, and I'm grateful for
Mm.
that.
Wow.
And understand that with the favor that's been granted to me, it's my obligation to extend that
Mhm.
um, as far as I can for as long as I can.
Right. Well, I want to go back because when you were at Livingstone, you had a full athletic scholarship,
I
football.
did. I did. Yes, ma'am.
You played football.
I played football. I was actually the captain of our championship, the first CIAA championship football team at Livingstone College in 1997.
Really? Wow. I would have never. So, how did that shift happen when you went from football to going into, as you said, education, your career now? You weren't always interested in education. What was the shift? What was that shift?
Well, shift. I don't know if it's necessarily. There are a lot of similarities between the athletic arena.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the skills and the attributes to be successful there that you need to be successful in education. That
Mm-hmm.
sense of collaboration, that sense of ownership, that sense of brotherhood or commitment to another individual, learning the skill and the knowledge of a game is really no different than learning the content of a subject area. Team teaching, bringing people together, identifying strengths and weaknesses. And I didn't understand that then, but now that I sit in this seat, I understand the preparation that being in that arena, although it may be grass and it may be hot, but sitting in the classroom, it requires some of the same skills, but also some of the same passions and the
Mm-hmm.
same heart
Mm-hmm.
that it
Mm-hmm.
requires if you're on the athletic field or on a band,
That's
anything.
right. That's right. So, share some of your insights that you've gained while you have been superintendent as you're moving into your fourth year.
My testimony insight is summed up in a situation I had to deal with actually prior to coming here to Orangeburg. So in 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Unbeknownst to myself, I got a phone call from my wife, and she said, "I made you an appointment to go see an ENT, and I'm gonna call to make sure you go." So I went to the ENT, and he says, "Well, what are you here for?" I said, "Well, I'm here because I don't want to hear my wife's mouth anymore." He says, what's going on?" I said, "Well, she says I'm snoring." And so my response to her was, "People that work hard, that's what they do. They snore." You know,
Right.
so if you want to get some sleep, I suggest you go to sleep before me. And so we laughed and we had a good time. And the doctor said, "Well, I'll just do a regular checkup and I'll give you a note so that you can show your wife you came here." Um, he did a checkup, and I remember him sticking the camera down my nose. And in about 2 minutes, he came back and said, "I think you have cancer." And at this time, I'm believing him to be joking.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Doc, let's not play like that. That's just not anything that you want to joke with." He says, "No, I've been doing this for 29 years. Let's hope that I'm wrong the first time in my career." So he did a biopsy and he scheduled me to do an immediate CT scan. And I went and did that, came back 3 days later. He says, "Well, not only was I correct, but you're about stage 4."
Mm.
And I asked a few questions. I said, "Well, I just had a physical 3 weeks ago." He pulled my blood work. He says, "Yes, you did." I said, "Well, nothing came up." He said, "Your blood work's fine." And I said, "Well, how do people find out about this type of cancer?" I was diagnosed with nasopharynx squamous cell carcinoma.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Well, most people find out just like you by accident. They just find out too late." He said,
Mm.
"Oddly enough, something was different with the way your body reacted to this. It's only spread to your level 1 lymph node, which shows why it didn't show up in your blood
In your
work."
blood work. Mm-hmm.
And then he told me the most powerful lesson that I take with me today. Um, he said, "You're about to go through the fight of your life." He said, "There are going to be times where you can't get up. You're going to be in tears." He says, "Because you're going to go through chemo and radiation. Chemo 5 days a week, 6 to 8 hours a day, radiation every single day."
Mm.
Um, he says, "But if there's one thing you're going to have to do if you expect to beat this cancer." And so obviously I'm listening intently. And he says, "You have to show up."
Mm.
And it was at that moment that I realized a true lesson in life is that when things are tough, when you don't have an answer, and when you're not in control, which oftentimes, truly enough, we're not, the one thing that you can do is be in that space and show up in
Mm.
order to allow, I feel, God to do the work that you are unable to humanly do. So I've carried that with me as I've entered into this role, but also the understanding that I was saved for a reason, and I realize that now, that
Mm.
given those circumstances, that
Mm.
if I would have known, if I'd have had cancer, that's the only downside. I feel like I'd have been even further along if I'd have had cancer 20 years ago.
Mm.
Best and worst thing that ever happened to me
Mm.
um, is to make sure that it gives you an appreciation for what things really and truly are. So
That's right.
as I move through these sometimes challenging times, I stay focused and understanding that I'm here for a bigger reason.
Mm.
Um,
God. Hey, listen, it's nothing but God.
yes, ma'am.
Nothing but God. Wow, Dr. Foster, I never knew that story. That's why. And thank you so much for sharing and being transparent about, you know, about that diagnosis and just to see how you work. Now, folks, I can talk because I've seen Dr. Foster working. Dr. Foster works all the time. And it's like you're on a mission and that mission that God has you on, as you said, he saved you for this purpose, for such a time as this. What is it that you love about being a superintendent?
The people and the children. I'll tell you one thing, that there's nothing more rewarding to see the smile on the child's face when they get it, or when they are able to overcome an obstacle. Hearing those voices, the touch of a child's hand, just to know that we have the greatest job and the greatest opportunity in the world. I was sitting in the chemo chair, and I was reading a book, and I read a quote by Albert Pike as I sat there, and the quote said that the things you do for yourself will die with you, but what you do for others will live for an eternity.
Mm,
And
mm,
as you reflect on things, you realize, as an educator, as someone who works with children, anybody that works with children, you have the opportunity to be immortal. That when
mhm.
you're physically gone, what you do will allow you the opportunity to be the discussions at dinner tables for generations.
The generations
Um,
to come.
so I don't have control of the time that I have on this earth, but I have control of what I'm going to do with the time that I have. But I
Mhm.
can be immortal. So
That,
that's the greatest part about being an educator.
hmm, hmm. And the greatest part about being a superintendent, I mean, as I listened to you, and as I was talking to you earlier about convocation, just to see your everybody in the Orangeburg County School District, how they were so excited about the beginning of the school year and what was getting ready to happen, and how you shared all of that. And by the way, happy birthday as well,
Thank you.
because they bought you that big cake and everything.
Yeah.
But just to hear them and listening to them say, "Oh, I love this." Dr. Foster, he's got this going on. We're gonna be doing this, and we're gonna be doing that, and just to hear people behind me talking about you in that light is just, I mean, it's just phenomenal. Dr. Foster, we're going to take a break. We got to take a commercial break, and we're going to come back. And when we come back, we want to talk with you about some of the goals that you have for the new school year, and some of the new things that are happening at in Orangeburg County in the school district. Angel says to tell you happy birthday, Dr. Foster. So we've got some folks listening and paying attention to what you have to say. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back. Okay?
All righty.
All right. All right, folks, we'll be right back with Dr. Shawn D. Foster.
The Orangeburg County Conference Center supports downtown Orangeburg and our surrounding communities. The 6,000 plus square foot space is ideal for groups of up to 400 people attending corporate meetings, conventions, workshops, and special events. Conference Center staff are inspired to ensure that everyone can enjoy the modern amenities. State-of-the-art ballroom that accommodates up to 400 guests banquet style and 430 guests theater style. A warming kitchen with hot boxes, ice machine, refrigerator, freezer, and counter space. A lobby that accommodates 150 guests with special events outdoors. The comfortable outdoor amphitheater has a video wall and seating. Adjacent to the amphitheater is 12,000 plus square feet of green space that extends events outside, plus complimentary on-site event parking and additional parking across the street. Your event can take place all in one spectacular location. We welcome your special event in Orangeburg.
My name is Randy Dantrell Heath, and you are watching The Tammy Show.
Welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, I tell you, it's an exciting time because I'm here with Dr. Shawn D. Foster, Superintendent of the Orangeburg County School District. And Dr. Foster, you just hit me with something. when you talked about your diagnosis in 2018. But more importantly, as I'm sitting here listening to you, as I said, God has you on a mission. I mean, because stage 4 cancer, and to hear you, the way you are and the way you speak to people and the way you interact with people, the way you collaborate with people, I mean, it's nothing but God. I'm looking at you now, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna let you talk, you know. I'm just gonna let you have at it. But you know, one of the things that I love about you, Dr. Foster, is that you have vision. And I know I can only imagine when you came to Orangeburg what you saw and what you see as the future. What are the goals for the new school year, this for your school year this year?
Well, Tammy, every year I start out with some focus areas, and I start with our school administration. And I mentioned some of this at our convocation. But I have 4 distinct goals this year that we're going to focus. And it's not just me. It's when I say me, I'm speaking about leadership as a whole in the Orangeburg County School District, because it collectively one person can't do it. I'm not that great. It takes a great team that I have the opportunity to work with each and every day. My senior staff and my cabinet are far better than I ever would be, and they're the ones who make the school district run. They just allow me to stay around every day and act and think that I'm in charge. But there are 4 focus areas that I want to do and focus on this year. And the first one is building trust in and across this organization. As a leader, I'm a firm believer that trust, the speed of trust, can slow up or it can be a catalyst to progress of an organization and of a community. If you trust people, if you know that they have your back, and that we're all working towards a common goal with common values and beliefs, it's okay to make a mistake. But if you don't trust, then you walk a little more cautiously, and sometimes when you write, you question yourself. But I challenge the administrators this year to do one thing: trust. But the trust starts with trusting themselves, trusting their abilities, trusting their opportunities, because you can't trust anyone else if you don't trust yourself first. So that's the first focus area that we're gonna drive home. The second focus area is to make sure that we're building a mission-driven culture. We have to make sure that we look at those details and look at the data points and those hard facts, and establish a culture of urgency throughout every single building in this school district. Because I'm a firm believer that there are 3 types of cultures that exist. There's a culture of urgency, and people say that that's bad. That's not bad. You need to be in a culture of urgency, because only thing you're left with is a culture of complacency. And if you exist in a culture of complacency, you'll find yourself in a culture of crisis, and nothing's getting done. So having that mission-driven culture, focusing on and moving with a sense of urgency for the improvement of our students' academics and our community is what we need to focus on this year. The third focus area is making sure that we're following our strategic plan with fidelity. We went through a year-long process where we engaged this community in a strategic plan that pointed out what we wanted to be, that great vision of Orangeburg, not just the school district, but the community. But it also allowed us to allocate resources, both human resources and financial resources, towards those strategic things. It's our roadmap to success. So are we following those things, and are we living the foundational mission that we established? And that is to help students develop and discover their person, their purpose, and their platform. Are we doing that as a school district? And the final goal that's been my goal since I've gotten here as superintendent, and will stay as a goal, is to make sure we have positive and advanced culture of customer service. We have to continue to work on that. That will always be a focus area. You can be tough on process and easy on people.
Yeah.
It's how you treat folks. So that's my vision, that we can have an organization that has those key tenets for this upcoming school year, to make sure that we're moving forward.
Wow. And not only are you having these 4 focus areas, but you also have new buildings that are going up. Talk about that, because I mean it's going on all over Orangeburg County.
Yes, ma'am. We're excited about that. And I want to thank the community. Anytime you thank the community for having and entrusting you and passing the bond referendum, that says a lot. And again,
Mhm.
that does not go unnoticed and or unappreciated. We are now looking and have already broke ground on two of our building projects. We have an addition at Clark Middle School, where we'll eventually merge the students at Howard and have one middle school in Orangeburg proper. But we've also broke ground on the middle school addition at Lake Marion High School, where we'll merge Holly Hill Roberts
Yeah,
and
Robert.
Ellery into that campus, making that a 6th through 12th grade campus. But the board just approved the guaranteed maximum price and the budget for the brand new elementary school down in the eastern part of the county this past Tuesday. So we're now planning that groundbreaking ceremony and hope to see next month them building some buildings there. And we were excited to show a wonderful video of the future Orangeburg Wilkerson High School that we look to hopefully bring in a final GMP budget and at the end of January, and hopefully begin February with that building project amongst the AstroTurf fields that we're putting down at all of our high schools. So it's an exciting time to see things actually being done, and the students are excited. I was over at Edisto High School just before I came here. They're playing their first football game tomorrow on that brand new turf field, and the
Wow.
students are so excited. So, we're just continuing to move forward, and again, great learning goes on in great spaces. So we're going to create those great spaces so teachers can go do the great work for children.
Yeah, man. Listen, you are the goat, as they say. You
I
are the
don't know
goat.
about that.
Yeah, and listen, yes, sir, and you have the team to do it. I want to take time to just thank Dr. Taylor, because she, was able to set this up. We get together and set this up, and that's my sorority sister. But anyway, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you to her, and thank you to your team. I can mention all the names that I know, but I want to thank all of them for just being so kind to me as well, and for you also for pulling me up under your wing and encouraging me. I really appreciate that. Dr. Foster, we're running out of time, because I know I don't want to hold you, but I want to ask you if you had anything that you wanted to say to the viewers today. What is it that you want them to glean from our chat?
Um, the one thing, wow, that's a tough question, Tim. Well, if there's one thing is, there was a saying that someone said, don't look at things and wonder why, just dream new ideas and say, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
why not? Why not Orangeburg?
Why not?
Everything is here for us to be everything and more than what we imagine we can be.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so why not go be it?
Wow.
Let's stand shoulder to shoulder and go say and do everything that people said we couldn't do.
Mm, I like that. I like that. What's next for you, Dr. Foster?
Um, to continue to be the superintendent here in Orangeburg County. That's my next.
That's your next. So that's it. That's it. Got it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it in a nutshell. So what are the three words that describe you?
3 words: intentional, strategic, and deliberate.
Intentional, strategic, and deliberate. Wow. Dr. Foster, you got to come back on the show. I think we both love to talk, but I think that you have so much that people would want to hear, the ideas and sharing those ideas. And I'd love for you to come back at some point or another to really
Anytime,
talk about the progress
anytime,
and what
anytime.
and what you're doing. I appreciate you so much, man. It's great to see you. You know that.
Appreciate you too as well. Anytime you need me, listen, I'll be there.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Dr. Foster, for taking the time to speak with me today and to really share about what's happening in Orangeburg County School District and to share your story, being so transparent. Best to your family and to everybody, Miss Tanya Hay. And I really want to thank you again.
And thank you, Tammy, for everything you do for this community as well. These things matter. And the things you do behind the scenes that people sometimes don't get the opportunity to see. I appreciate your spirit, your person, and your support. So thank you so much for all that.
I thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
All right.
You take care of yourself, Dr. Foster.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye. All right, folks, you heard it right here. Dr. Shawn D. Foster, Orangeburg County School District. When I tell you he is the superintendent, he is the GOAT. I've been around him and I've seen what he's doing here in Orangeburg. I'm telling you, Orangeburg is coming up. So I want to thank him again for being on the show. Listen, Dr. Taylor, I want to thank you for making sure that this happened as well. Thank you, viewers, for always tuning in. As I said, remember, you can join us next week, next Thursday at 7 p.m. We have a great guest coming on, Leonard Pelzer, Barber Tech Academy. He's going to talk about education, but he's going to talk about what's happening in the community and how he works with his students in the community. I want to thank my producers, Alicia, my assistant producers, Tiana, Willie, and Felicia. You know, I love you all, and I that you do for me. Please remember to subscribe to the Tammy TV show right on YouTube. All you have to do is hit that red subscribe button, and please become a subscription, a member of the Tammy TV show. And remember, let's be a blessing to somebody today and every day. I can't stress that enough. So again, thank you for joining us. Until the next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Coming up on the next Tammy, I'll be talking with Leonard Pelzer, the co-owner of Barber Tech Academy, and he's here to tell us all about education and how he works in the community with his students. Listen, it's all coming up on the next Tammy, the Tammy TV show YouTube channel. That's Thursdays at 7 p.m. See you then.